Chosen one, a supernatural payment is pending. Something will change. There is a divine deposit hovering over your life, and it has been approved in the unseen realm. A supernatural payment is pending, one that is not of this world, not of man, and not of system. This is the moment before the shift, before the transaction is finalized, before the energy rearranges around your purpose. You may not see it with your physical eyes yet, but your spirit knows it's close. Something is about to change. A major release is near, and it will change everything. Chosen one, watch this video until the end to catch every spiritual signal embedded in this divine message. And write in the comments your warmest wishes and the number 777. That single declaration has the power to release spiritual currents and energize the atmosphere of your life. You never know which part of your written wish will be the one to come true next. Because the universe is listening, and your alignment with this moment matters. Now, chosen one, like this video, subscribe if you haven't subscribed to the channel, and let's begin. A supernatural payment doesn't come like ordinary deposits. It isn't wired through banks. It's not a refund. It's not even a reward in the human sense. This kind of payment is heavenly. It's triggered by spiritual obedience, years of unseen sacrifice, silent tears, generational shifts, and divine timing. And once it's approved, there is no system on earth that can delay it any longer. If you're the chosen one, this message is your confirmation that you are in the final pending stage, where what you've carried spiritually now begins to break through naturally. That change you've been sensing, that anticipation you've been trying to explain to others, that strange stillness in the atmosphere lately, that's the announcement. That's the signal. That's the divine processing update, whispering to your soul, "You're next." So many times, chosen one, you've wondered why your efforts weren't returning fruit like they should. You worked harder than others. You prayed harder. You obeyed deeper. And yet, it seemed like others were reaping rewards, while you stood still in the waiting line. That wasn't punishment, it was preparation. God was calculating the exact weight of the blessing you could handle without collapsing under it. While they got temporary success, you were being built for legacy-level wealth, spiritual depth, and generational transformation. That's why it took so long. That's why it was delayed. Not because you were forgotten, but because the supernatural payment has levels that require readiness. There is a moment when your spiritual balance reaches overflow, not just emotionally, not just mentally, but in the realm of divine timing, where heaven says, "Process complete, approved." That's the moment you're stepping into now. You may feel tension around you. Don't mistake it as resistance. That's the energy of change announcing itself. Things around you might look like they're breaking, but they're actually bending to the arrival of the blessing. What seems delayed is only being divinely routed. A supernatural payment is never delivered early, but it is never late either. It comes at the divine second that it can have the greatest impact on your life. There are some things money can't buy. But when heaven pays you back, it's not always with cash. It might be with healing. It might be with sudden peace. It might be the release of burdens you didn't know you could live without. It might come as a new relationship that feels like destiny. It might arrive as favor that you couldn't earn, or a position that no resume could get you. Chosen one, what's pending is not a number in your bank. It's a shift in your entire reality. It's your name being whispered in rooms your feet have not yet entered. It's your idea being remembered. It's your tears being harvested into a breakthrough. The supernatural economy is governed by faith, not numbers. And your faith, even if small, has moved mountains. You didn't collapse under the pressure when you had every reason to. You didn't retaliate when they betrayed you. You kept walking. You kept hoping. And for that, there is a divine accumulation that is being released. Yes, something will change. It's already happening in layers. You're being repositioned without effort. Doors are being unlatched silently. The people you need are being awakened to your name, your work, your voice, your presence, even before you show up. The delivery system of God is faster than lightning and stronger than any delay. This isn't the time to panic. This is the time to prepare. God does not allow supernatural payments to be released into chaos. That's why He's been cleaning your heart, clearing your circles, and reducing your distractions. The fewer people around you, the less noise in the system. The more sacred your space, the more concentrated your impact. The supernatural doesn't operate in crowds. It falls in silence, and it lands on the ones who are aligned, obedient, and ready. And you, chosen one, are ready. Even if you don't feel ready, your spirit is. Even if your mind is doubtful, your destiny is already moving. The angels are not idle. There's movement around you now, even if it's invisible. You've entered the phase where nothing looks different, but everything is about to be. This is where the old ends without a loud goodbye. This is where old burdens fade without one more battle. This is where your spiritual account is credited with mercy, favor, wealth, and glory, not just because you wanted it, but because you endured for it. The spiritual system always pays those who endure the storm without losing the lesson. That's you. That's your portion. Chosen one, people may have underestimated you because you didn't chase applause or recognition. But heaven has been tracking every obedient step. This is not just a reward. It's a divine settlement. Every unpaid moment, every hour you spent healing instead of hurting, every time you resisted bitterness and chose grace has been stored like gold in heaven's vault. And now, that vault is opening. The supernatural payment is a divine equalizer. It doesn't just elevate, it settles. It doesn't just bless, it justifies. You are not just being paid, you're being vindicated, and something will change. Your name will shift in people's minds. The same ones who doubted will now be in awe. The ones who questioned your silence will see the power behind it. The supernatural leaves a mark that human words can't explain. It's the shift that causes people to ask, what happened to them? And the answer will always be the same. Divine timing showed up. When that change happens, don't shrink. Don't downplay. Walk into it. Own it. Receive it. You've cried for it, fought for it, prayed for it. It's yours. There is a sacred truth many don't speak about. Chosen one, those who walk in divine assignments are often tested not in what they receive, but in what they must carry before they receive it. And you have been carrying weight in the spirit that others couldn't even recognize. You carried the responsibility of light in dark places. You carried forgiveness where vengeance would have felt easier. You carried integrity when shortcuts were tempting. And because you carried it well in silence, the heavens have now authorized a release that will manifest loudly. The pending supernatural payment is not just about what you endured. It's about the consistency of your character through seasons where inconsistency would have been excused. You didn't break under pressure, and that made you eligible for promotion. The kind of change that's coming isn't just emotional, It's structural. Your life is about to be rearranged in ways that will cause the world to reintroduce themselves to who you've always been. There are things happening around you that look ordinary, but are being divinely engineered for extraordinary outcomes. That connection you just made, that opportunity you almost ignored, that door you assumed was too small, all of it is part of the release protocol. When supernatural payment is pending, God begins preparing everything in your ecosystem to hold the weight of the blessing. There is no such thing as random in this season. Every person showing up now is either an answer or a test. Every decision you make is either an acceleration or a delay. And you will know which is which, not because of what they say, but because of how your spirit reacts. The supernatural has a frequency. When it's close, your discernment increases. You become more sensitive to environments, more intuitive about conversations, more protective over your peace. That's not paranoia. That's precision. That's heaven guarding its investment. People may look at your outer life and assume nothing's happening, but the shift isn't supposed to be seen by everyone. The most powerful changes are always undetected by the masses. When you were silent, the transaction was active. When you were overlooked, the recalibration was occurring. When you were misunderstood, the supernatural balance was being credited. You didn't see the angels working, but they were. You didn't hear the gates opening, but they are. The unseen is now becoming the seen. And those who thought they understood your journey are about to be left in awe. Because this next version of you, chosen one, is not for validation. It's for demonstration. You are becoming proof of what God funds. Your life will testify to what supernatural wealth looks like. Not just in money, but in mind. Not just in possessions, but in peace. Not just in public, but in private. You may have noticed your sleep shifting, your appetite changing, your emotions swinging from excitement to stillness. That is a divine sign of spiritual download. The human body responds when heaven is updating your timeline. It's as if your soul is rehearsing for the blessing before it arrives. You feel unfamiliar peace in places you used to feel anxious. You're no longer triggered by what used to bother you. You're starting to speak less, but feel more. That's growth, chosen one. That's alignment. That's the Spirit confirming that you are in the final moments before the payment posts. And while others chase trends, you are quietly being transformed into a trendsetter. You're not here to follow. You're here to pioneer. The kind of payment coming to you sets you apart. It doesn't make you arrogant. It makes you aware. Some people will try to explain your shift through luck. Others will say you're just having a good season. But you and God both know what it took. You know about the nights where you had to talk yourself out of quitting. You know the mornings where your body showed up even though your spirit was drained. You know about the losses that no one saw. And because of that, your gain will be visible. The supernatural payment is loud when it lands. It's unmistakable. It shakes things. It draws attention, not for fame, but for purpose. You are a carrier of something sacred now. The atmosphere around you is heavy with fulfillment. What was promised is now scheduled. What was delayed is now moving. What was hidden is now being released. And there's no need to announce it. Your presence will reveal it. Don't be surprised when the people who overlooked you start remembering you. Don't question it when they circle back with opportunities or apologies. That's what happens when the spiritual system highlights someone for delivery. You're being marked with divine relevance. This isn't about popularity. It's about purpose. This isn't about going viral. It's about going vertical. You are being elevated, not by manipulation, not by marketing, but by supernatural merit. And that kind of rise is untouchable. That kind of rise cannot be duplicated, only witnessed. You've outgrown conversations that drain you. You've graduated from cycles that once trapped you. And now, the payment isn't just for your past. It's for the portal you're about to walk through. Chosen one. Something inside you already knows that your season shifted. The world may not have caught up yet, but your spirit has. There's a calm over you now, a quiet confidence, a stillness that says, I know something they don't. And you're right. You know that the struggle has an expiration date. You know that the famine has been exchanged for favor. You know that lack has been replaced with legacy. What's coming is not a one-time miracle. It's a new normal. This shift isn't just financial. It's generational. You're about to fund what others only dreamed of. You're about to support what others only spoke about. You're about to build what others assumed was impossible. That is the power of a supernatural deposit. It rewrites reality, not just for you, but for everyone attached to you. So now, walk with expectation. Not anxiety, expectation. Walk with preparation, not panic. Walk with the knowing that something has already changed, even before your eyes confirm it. Speak like the payment has already cleared. Plan like the door is already open. Move like the approval has already been signed. Because in the realm of the Spirit, it has. It's done. And what is done in heaven must now manifest on earth. Your only job is to stay positioned. Stay grateful. Stay ready. Because when the shift comes, it won't ask for permission. It will crash through like a flood. Suddenly, swiftly, supernaturally. There is a difference between what the world calls arrival and what the divine calls fulfillment. The world may celebrate moments that sparkle and fade, moments that dazzle but don't last. But what is about to land in your life, chosen one, is not something that simply arrives. It settles, it expands, it deepens, and it speaks. What's pending for you carries the energy of permanence, not momentary hype. That is why the preparation has felt so intense, so sacred, so isolating at times. You were not being delayed to be denied. You were being set apart to be defined by a higher order. You are not being given something small. You are being entrusted with something eternal. That is why the supernatural payment must arrive at the exact moment your foundation can hold it. And now, your foundation is strong. Your identity is no longer confused. You no longer second-guess your worth. The enemy can no longer access the portals of doubt within you. The transaction is on the brink of completion because your inner world finally aligns with the scale of what is meant to touch your outer world. There is an activation taking place inside you that is shifting not just your next decision, but the next dimension of your life. Supernatural payment is never just a reward for endurance. It is also the permission to rise. This pending transfer will not only bless your life, it will lift you into rooms where your presence itself is the shift. The transformation is not only what is being given to you, it is what you are becoming. You are becoming too magnetic to ignore, too radiant to overlook, too stable to shake, too aligned to miss. And this isn't about arrogance, it's about accuracy. For the first time in years, your internal compass is pointing true north, and you are no longer spinning in circles. Your clarity is terrifying to every demon that once danced in your confusion. This payment is not compensation for what was taken. It is the divine restoration of what you never knew was promised. Even the ground beneath your feet is shifting. The very atmosphere around you is responding to the frequency of your expectation. You're not paranoid. What you feel is real. The unusual peace, the sudden stillness, the sacred detachment from drama. It's all a part of the process. When something spiritual is pending for release, the world around you will feel like it's slowing down. Conversations will feel emptier. Old desires will suddenly fade. Your appetite will shift, not just physically, but spiritually. That's because your soul knows it is being invited into a new table, one prepared in silence, one reserved for the faithful. This isn't about proving yourself anymore. It's about presenting yourself. The work has been done. The payment has been processed. The evidence of change is about to echo through every area of your life. And no, chosen one, it won't look like what they told you. It won't follow the rules they taught you. This change will be unexplainable. It will bypass the ladder of logic and deliver you directly to a destination that doesn't even make sense to those watching. The supernatural always looks like a glitch to those who don't understand alignment. They'll ask, how did you get that house? How did you land that position? How did you attract that blessing? And your only response will be, I obeyed. I held on. I aligned. I trusted. The supernatural payment isn't just wealth, it's divine evidence. It will speak louder than your explanations ever could, and it will silence every voice that ever questioned your quiet season. Chosen one, if you feel isolated right now, it's because you are being escorted away from distractions and lesser assignments. You're being relocated spiritually, not to punish you, but to preserve the power of what's coming. You can't sit in rooms anymore where your value is dimmed. You can't entertain conversations anymore that dilute your purpose. You can't afford to be connected to people who want your gifts, but not your growth. Heaven is too invested in what's about to arrive for your circle to remain casual. That's why some people disappeared. That's why some opportunities fell through. The supernatural payment isn't coming to a crowded room. It's coming to a clean altar.